This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, Don't mistake the new me for the old me. They can't stop me now, I'm with the whole team. No beginner, I'm a winner. Took a couple losses, now I'm cooking, let me simmer. Yeah, tunnel vision, all I see is win, 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 win. This my city section where you been. We move faster alone, but go further together. We can weather any weather forever. A dream team, I done seen things. Confidence is on 100,000. I got family for miles, running up the mileage. Made it through some trials and some tribulations. Now me and the team out here celebrating, yeah. This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, Forget the things you probably thought you knew. A new day is approaching, turn the gray skies into blue. I grew up on these same blocks, school of hard knocks. Had to get it on a hard time, took the hard shots, but we made it. Anticipated, highly decorated. The whole team is winning, celebrated. The victory is all mine, and everything is alright. And you know I done seen things, confidence is on 100,000. I got family for miles, running up the mileage. Made it through some trials and some tribulations. Now me and the team out here celebrating, yeah. This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like,
All right, what up, though? All right, we good to go. What's going on, everybody? Good morning or good afternoon. Welcome to Spike Kool-Aid for the first day of the last month of 2025, man. How crazy is that? Just like that, we are on our way to 2026. And it's crazy because we're going forward, but it looks like the Detroit Lions are going back. Shout out to everybody in the chat this afternoon. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Went Black Friday shopping, stayed safe. I hope the Lions did not ruin your Thanksgiving. Man, what a weekend. What a weekend. The Bears are now in the first place. Not only did they beat the Eagles on Black Friday, and Ben Johnson, we're going to bring in that celebration that I think I still have it bookmarked. So we're going to bring in the Bears celebration and how they got the first seed, man, in favor or due to the Rams' loss to the Carolina Panthers. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about this morning. What up, Run DC? We got AJ King, Anna in the building. Hey, what up, A? Dennis, Run DC. I already said that. Danny, what up, though? Going on any cruises anytime soon, my brother? Dern is in the building. My man says our cap space is awful next year. This team will look very different next year. That is an understatement, my man. 38 people under contract, 5 on the defensive line. Noah Meek. The Brad got his work cut out for him. What up, Rail? What up? We got Trees. We got who else? CT. What up, Bonzilla? What up? All right. So y'all know where I'm at. You already know, bro. You already know where I'm at. Look. The comment section has been blowing up. You know what I've been hearing? Derek, you ain't wrong, bro. You just ahead of your time. Yes, I am, man. The Detroit Lions. I'm going to give y'all a little spoiler. They are now 10th in sacks. 10th. Just 4 weeks ago, we were second when everybody was saying we was good. I told you. I think Brad Holmes' favorite song in the last year, from what I've been understanding, is Usher's Good Good. That's his favorite song. He listens to it all the time. He got it on repeat. He might even made a cameo in the video because that's how much Brad Holmes thinks we good. Imagine Ben Johnson winning Coach of the Year. Oh, no. He is winning Coach of the Year. There's no doubt about it. You don't take over a team that lost 10 straight the year before. Ben Johnson, it's in the stars, ladies and gentlemen. It's part of the narrative. Benedict the Snake. Yes, he's still a snake. There's no doubt about it. I was having that conversation with somebody off the air just a few minutes ago. What Ben Johnson did is just like, let me tell you what Ben Johnson did, okay? Ben Johnson is your best friend. He's your best friend. You've been knowing him for 20 years, right? Every time he's single though, right? So Ben Johnson is that single best friend. You bring him around, he always over. You in the basement, y'all watching a football game. Your wife is always around, right? Y'all talking, blah, blah, blah. Everything's cool. You and your wife don't work out. Now, he had nothing to do with it. He ain't break y'all up, but y'all don't work out. It's time to move on. Next thing you know, you call up your homie, and your homie dating your ex-wife. That's what? That's what Ben Johnson has done. You took every secret. So now you're wondering, I wonder what they talking about. They talking about me over there? I wonder what he know about me. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about, bro. How much do my former best friend, know about your boy, right? So that's Ben Johnson. Took every single secret over there and took it to a division rival, not a conference rival, a division, a team whose sole purpose is to beat us twice a year, who knows us like the back of his hand. That's Benedict the Snake, bro. But got to give him his credit. First seed in the NFC. Swallow that, Lions fans. First seed in the NFC. It's crazy. That is crazy. Let me see. I thought it was Usher. You got it bad. My boo when it comes to Davenport. He winning Coach of the Year, him or the Panthers coach. You know what? Right now, it depends on where they finish at. Usually they award Coach of the Year to coaches that like went through some adversity, and that's one thing that Ben has not done. So I think that really the Carolina Panthers, who's surprising everybody, he probably should win it. And that ain't even no hate. As of right, I think Canala should win it. Let me add that to the best. Wait, let me add that to the bet slip. It says, I think we make it in and play Stafford in the NFC Championship. Well, Crown, what's up, Sion? I'm not going to knock that, bro. If you believe that, bro, I'm going to let you keep believing. Let me see. Backdoor your own woman is kind of crazy. I mean, think about it. Think about this, okay? Ben Johnson, this was a gradual this wasn't like he all of a sudden decided to go to the Bears. This was a gradual process. Don't forget, he turned down the Carolina Panther job. Don't forget, on the plane back from Washington, he turned that job down. On the plane, the media knew before the team. You know why? Because he was waiting on this job. That's why. And then the irony of helping get Matt Eberflus fired just to take his job, then take our wide receiver coach over there, then all this. Anyway. All right. The only game that counts is the next 5. I do like that. I like that. All right. So we are going to talk about something that I saw yesterday, and I think that this is going to be very telling. This is a situation, and I think this is legit cause for concern. Okay. Dan Campbell, so we have an expedited week. After Thursday, we get 10 days off. So we don't play until the following Sunday, which is the 14th at 4:25, I believe, the LA Rams. The Carolina Panthers did us a huge favor yesterday by beating the LA Rams. So it keeps it close. Now, the Detroit Lions are not out of this thing by any means. It's not that we've counted them out. It's what we expect. The way that this season is gone, do we expect the Detroit Lions to really be able to make the playoffs? Now, you know what's crazy? This team hasn't lost 2 in a row in 3 seasons. They last year, they went on a 10, while the Bears were going on a 10-game losing streak, we went on a 10-game win streak. But I don't have the confidence that we had last year. I don't. The team is not the same. And it has a little bit to do with Ben Johnson being gone and the woes of our offensive play calling. But it's more of the state of this team. Kirby Joseph deleted his social media. The last thing he said was, God help me. Don't know what the heck is going on with Kirby Joseph. But Kirby Joseph deleted his social media. He no longer has an X. I do not know. Oh, Lord, he no longer has a Twitter. I don't know if he has his YouTube channel is still a thing. But we are going to break down Dan Campbell's press conference. We're going to break it down because it was very, very telling. And I wanted to do this last night, but with the game going to overtime, I felt it was best to wait. So let me do this. I'll be right back because I am getting warm. Shout out to these sweaters, bro. I'm telling you, if you don't like to wear coats, check out the Lion Syndicate hoodies, bro, on my channel. These joints right here are warm, My wife, I bought her one. She was like, yo, that thing is hot. Like, it's got a fleece inside, only $40, man. But if you, like, I don't wear coats in the winter, ever. So only time I wear a coat is like if I'm shoveling the snow and it's a blizzard or whatever. But I'm a hoodie. That's why I'm so big into hoodies. I don't wear coats. So this thing is warm. But I'm gonna be right back. Let me put on a different shirt and I'll be right back. All right. Mic check. We back. Okay. Had to make sure. Whew. And there's a vent right above me. It's right above me, man. So it's crazy. I was talking to one of my homies off the air right before I got on, and we were having some good discussions, man, because I think that this team is going to look a whole lot different next year. Before we get into that, let me see. We got some new people that came in. Panthers can actually keep creeping to the playoff if yesterday wasn't a fluke. Trees, yesterday was not a fluke. It wasn't, bro. The Panthers they've been like, they remind me of us from a couple years ago, where they just are a scrappy team. I mean, really the 49ers, if it weren't for, like, that was just a miserable game, right? But the Panthers, I like what they're doing over there. They had to go through a couple coaches to get there, but I don't think they're a fluke at all. And Tampa Bay better watch out because they actually play Tampa. You know what? I feel like they still have yet to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So wouldn't that be crazy if the Carolina Panthers make it to the playoffs, but the Lions don't? Speaking of that, we have a okay. It's I saw yesterday, and we'll probably make this a segment, that the NFC North. Okay, hold on. Let me do this. Then we'll bring in Dan Campbell's press conference. We might need to pick him up. Who? If we get a new GM, he sees the mistakes Brad missed and plugs in the holes. I've been so sick up until last week. Lori, it is no reason to apologize. I hope that you are feeling better. Do not worry. Okay. No, okay, I could go here. Because I want to show y'all something that's kind of unique. No, I said playoff picture. That's where I wanted to go. Playoff picture. Next season, we need to get rid of our secondary and keep some dogs. Well, we can't do that. Kirby Joseph under contract. Brian Branch, we got to decide what we're going to do with him. Amik is out of his contract. Terrion Arnold is going into year 3. So we can't really scrub the secondary. But what will be scrubbed is that D-line. That D-line is going to be absolutely scrubbed. Josh, what up, though? What's up, man? Oh, yes. So Adam Thielen. So I knew he was going to get released yesterday. Meaning here, well, I didn't know, but I speculated heavily because yesterday, since the Lions didn't play, I was all over the internet. And I was watching the Minnesota Vikings people. They were crashing out. like how far they have come, right? They have fallen. So they were crashing out about the Brosman situation, their quarterback, that whole thing. Justin Jefferson had like -4 yards or 4 yards. It was something insane. He had 1 or 2 catches. It was insane. Justin Jefferson will not be a Viking for much longer. I guarantee it. He is going to ask for a trade. I can't wait to see where he goes. I cannot wait to see where Justin Jefferson goes because he won't be a Viking. I think by the time his contract is over, he's on a different team because the Vikings continually let him down. They got rid of Kirk Cousins. He loved Kirk. They got rid of Sam Darnold. Sam wasn't that bad. He will ask for a trade. But Adam Thielen, they were talking about last night that Adam Thielen, he does not like when his play time is diminished. He was a healthy scratch yesterday. He did not play yesterday. He was a healthy scratch. And they were like, don't be surprised if he gets released. And so the Vikings granted his release. Wouldn't that be something if he goes back to the Panthers? What up? See, Pool is in the building. Says Dan Morgan is in year 2 with the Panthers. I have friends who work with them. A total culture change. See, who is that? Is that the GM? Yes, it does, Aaron. Why? Do you not want the hood? Because I could make one without the hood. I can make just a sweatshirt. I can't do the zip-ups, though, because they cost too much. Could Trey Hendrickson become a free agent target in the offseason if he's on his way out of Cincinnati? Absolutely, Run DC. He going to be somebody's free agent target. He ain't going to be ours. He not going to be ours. Speaking of that, Trey hasn't played since the trade deadline. I don't know if I feel like I don't know if we see him. Like, Bengals are still in the hunt, but are they really? Right? So, I don't know. I mean, they won. They won their game, man. So, I don't know. Jefferson to the Bucks to replace Evans? Ooh-wee. That would be something. Justin to the Steelers? Nah. All right. So, let's do this. The Detroit Lions are fighting for their playoff lives. When was the last time we said that? Like, imagine how quickly the mighty can fall. Just imagine that. 3 years ago in 2022, this team was 1-6, firing DBs, coaches, demoting, very similar to this year, demoting offensive coordinators. Wouldn't that be a trip if this year is just like that year? No, that was 2021 that we did that. It was 2021 that we demoted Anthony Lynn because that's when Ben Johnson took over. But the Detroit Lions are fighting for their playoff lives. I saw something yesterday that didn't surprise me, but it just made me think, you know what? If this team is, just think about this. Brad and Dan have both preached about culture and how they don't value talent like they value culture, and that grit is their mantra. And it's kind of funny because you don't really hear it as much as you used to, right? Is it just me, or you don't really hear it? It ain't plastered everywhere. It ain't on tiles and merchandise like it used to be. To me, it used to be. Maybe it is. I've seen it in places, but it just don't feel like the same. It don't feel like they don't mention it as much as they used to. And we're going to go into a press conference from yesterday, Dan Campbell, and I'm going to show you that I just don't think he's the same. I think he's exhausted. I think he's beaten and downtrodden. But I want to show you something because I think that this is important to the future of the Detroit Lions and why they are going to have a very difficult time to make the playoffs. Very difficult time to make the playoffs. Let's check this out. So these are the results after Sunday Night Football. Monday Night Football has yet to be played, and we'll talk about a team that is playing. One of the teams playing tonight has been eliminated from playoff contention. But the Lions, this is probably the most disgusting thing that I've seen this year, is the Chicago Bears in the first year under our former OC, as we are struggling to find our identity. We hire a guy that continually gets removed from teams, and I don't even know if this guy if he should have been the offensive coordinator. I'm actually surprised that the Lions didn't hire from within like they did with Kelvin Shepard. And maybe that's another thing too. The Lions, we need to start talking about moving differently. Enough with this internal hiring. It worked out for Ben Johnson. It worked out for Calvin Shepard. It ain't always going to work. Sometimes you got to think outside the box. But check this out. Bears, NFC North. We had this conversation before. There are going to be 7 teams in the playoffs. I predicted that they're going to be 3 from the West, 1 from the South, 1 from the East, and 2 from the North. The Bears are now not only the first seed in the North, but the first seed in the NFC. The Bears, number 2. The Philadelphia Eagles, number 3. The Buccaneers, number 4. They are, and I think they have yet to play the Carolina Panthers with 5 games remaining. I think they have. I think I could be wrong, but I know they have to play them one more time. The Seattle Seahawks, 9-3. A 5th seed is 9-3, very similar to last year. The Packers swept us 8-3, and the 49ers, 9-4, are the 7th seed because the NFC West is just that good. And those 3 teams will make the playoffs. So the 3 teams in the NFC West, the Cardinals have been eliminated. So all of the other teams in the West will go to the playoffs. But here's what I'm going to show you why it's going to be difficult for the Lions. Lions are the A seed, and they're going to be the A seed for a while. As a matter of fact, there's nothing that can happen this weekend that can put the Lions in the playoffs. Even with they win, the Lions are not in the playoffs. Why? Because if the Packers lose, they're 8-4-1. They swept the Lions, and they got a better record than the Lions. So check that off the board. Even if the Bears lose, the Bears are 9-4. They got a better record than the Lions. So keep this in mind. With 5 games remaining, no matter what happens in one of those games, the Lions remain out of the playoffs. That's how sticky this is. But check this out. Not only do they got a dogfight to get in the playoffs, check this out. Let's go down. Dallas Cowboys. If the Dallas Cowboys win that game, they will go to 7-5. The Lions will go to 7-6. They will push the Lions down at least 1 spot. And guess who's sitting there? The Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers. If the Carolina Panthers win and move to 8-6 and the Lions drop to 7-6, all of a sudden, the Lions are the 10th seed. How crazy is that? But that's not even the best part. Keep going down. Keep doing down. Vikings are done. They're fried, French toast, burnt toast. They're done. Check this out. Let's go down here. Look at the eliminated teams in the NFC. What do you notice? Cardinals. What division are they in? NFC West. Saints. They're eliminated. NFC South. Giants. They're eliminated. NFC East. What do you notice about what I just said? That in the NFC, the Detroit Lions are in a division in which they are the only NFC division that still has all 4 teams alive in playoff contention. So not only are they up against it record-wise, they have the only division in the NFC that has not had a team eliminated from playoff contention. The Lions are up against it. And it's going to be something. This year is going to be something. When this year finishes, it's going to be something. So Duncan says wild card run. Okay. All right. So let's entertain the wild card run, shall we? What do you think it's going to take for the Lions to make the playoffs? We've already determined that no matter what they win against the Dallas Cowboys and all the stuff that has to happen in week 14, they're still not in. What do you think the Lions need to do? We beat Tampa, though, NFC South. Okay, Duncan, that's correct. However, the NFC South is the NFC South, right? So all they have to worry about is winning their division. And it's going to be either them or the Carolina Panthers. So it doesn't, in that regard, the tiebreaker doesn't matter. It would only matter if it's a wild card situation. So could that happen? If Tampa Bay drops out of their division lead, they're going to drop out of the playoffs. We have to hope that the Colts beat the Niners. Lions would have to win out and get help. It's a long road. Google Face says 11-6 to make the 7th seed, 12-5 to make the 5th seed. Okay, all right. Titan says, I think our best case scenario is a Packers collapse and we tie the Bears and win the tiebreak. Our next two games are Dallas and Rams, both very good teams. So Crown says, got to win 4 to 5 out of the 5 to guarantee playoffs. Lions go 4-1. Packers go 2-3. Okay. So this is what I'm hearing, and I want to make sure I'm hearing this right. So you're saying that the Lions are going to go 4-1, and if that's the case, what team are we losing to? Let's say, and I think it's a safe assessment to say that if this team is really, and that's what I was going to say about the makeup of this team, we're really going to find out who the 2025 Detroit Lions are. Is we talked about grit to start this segment. If they are the gritty team that we've become accustomed to, they will find a way to get into the playoffs. And I think that for the first time, I think that our grit is going to be tested. Now, I know we had attrition last year. That was injury. We ran out of people at that point. But now we're not down as bad. We are down some big players, but we're not down like we were last year, right? So this team got to dig deep. They got to dig deep and find their grit to make the Super Bowl or make the playoffs. So, okay, Crown says so what team do we lose to? The Rams or Steelers? Bro, if we don't beat the Steelers, we got a problem. There's 2 teams on that list that if we don't beat, we have a problem. And that is the Steelers and Vikings. The Vikings are in shambles. How can you have Justin Jefferson with no catches or whatever he was yesterday was abysmal? Nick with the super chat, $4.99. Thank you. Says, Packers have beat us twice. Let them have the North. You want the Packers to sweep Chicago, so Chicago will have 3 losses in the division as well. Am I right? Most likely, because that's going to matter. I mean, and the thing is, the division is still in hand. It's still in hand. But with the Lions playing the way that they're playing, they cannot, like Dan Campbell said, they have no margin for error at all. So, Lions are up against it, fighting for their playoff lives. Let me know what you think in the comments below. All right. Packers beat us twice. Let me see. I already read that one. I'm not confident, though, in this team. What up, Boot? What's up, man? I blame Brad for this. Absolutely. He should get the blame. Dan Campbell needs some blame as well. You got to take the points. That's what I want Dan Campbell to learn from this offseason. Sometimes, bro, you got to take the points. We've been saying take the points since 2023. Dan Campbell got to take the points. I feel like he's not, but he's got to take the points. He got to start taking the points. We have a kicker. Why do we have him? What's up, Corby? I can't believe Vikings beat us. That might be the biggest L loss season. Hey, that's facts. That's facts, man. What up, Win? What's good, man? All right, so I've got a circumstance that came up. And I am going, hold on, let me see. Let me reach out. Hold on, y'all. Let me reach out for the to the wife and see if I can continue. Give me a second. You know what I'll do? All right, give me a second, guys. Here's what I'm going to do so that this is not dead air. The stream is going to be spinning. I'm going to go check something out. It's going to be spinning, okay? It will eventually stop. So I don't want all this dead space in the show. So I will be right back. So if you are here, we got 127 people in the building. So I'm telling you what's going to happen. The stream is going to keep buffering, but it won't stop. And then once I come back, then it'll resume from there. But I need to check something out. I'll be right back. So if you go, just come back. I'll be back. All right, we should be back, and we're back. What's up, everybody? Okay, we good. All right, so I was going to end the show, but I wanted to make sure everything was okay because I wanted to make sure I could bring this in because this is the whole reason, not the whole reason, but one of the biggest reasons I got on. All right, so first of all, man, I got to say this, that this season has been weird. Like, it's funny because it's fine, but I've been under attack I get under attack on Twitter. Like, I don't know what it is about me, but I have a particular set of skills, and that particular set of skills is to irritate the life out of Lions fans, and it's unintentional. Like sometimes if I'm in troll mode and I'm trolling, because I found that the best way to troll back is to just troll. Like, don't let it get to you, whatever the situation. But finding out just my tweets are retweet, it's crazy. Like I just, to know that I have that type of influence is insane. All right. So here's what I wanted to show you guys. And this was one of the main reasons that I wanted to get on. All right. Dan Campbell got in front of the media yesterday, and everything is kind of fast forwarded a day. So, or at least a day. Yesterday, he got in front of the media. So like yesterday was Sunday, but it was like Monday. Today, he was on 97.1 A Ticket. So that's like Tuesday. Tomorrow, I'm assuming Jared Goff will be on 97.1 A Ticket. So that's like Wednesday, right? So then the coordinator, and then we play the games and all that stuff. We play the game on Thursday. And then after that, we'll be able to get back to the schedule because we'll be off for 10 days. So he was in front of the media yesterday. And this was the first time that I feel like we could see, like, Dan Campbell is off. There's something off about this entire situation. And I'm going to tell you why that I respect our coach. I respect the job that he's done with the team, and why I blame Brad Holmes much more than I blame Dan Campbell. Even for, like I said, Dan Campbell to me is two things that he has to consider. One is giving up play calling at the end of the season, finding an offensive coordinator. Two is sometimes, my brother, you got to take the points. Like, just take the points. Sometimes you got to do that. Those, to me, are my only two knocks on Dan Campbell. When it works, it works. When it doesn't, it doesn't. Sometimes, and receivers got to catch footballs, right? Got to happen. The call has to be right, all of that. But sometimes, since Dan Campbell has been the coach of the Lions have gone for it more than any other team in the NFL by a large margin. When you see other teams and they say, like, fourth down percentage this season, you laugh when you see what ours are, what ours is, right? But Dan Campbell feels a bit different. Things seem a little different. If you haven't seen the press conference, here it is. We're going to take a look at this thing in its entirety, and then that should be the rest of the show. Brad Holmes is the GM, not the Ford family, LOL. Truck, what's up, Trucking? Says, as long as the Ford family owns the Lions will never win the Super Bowl. They are cheap, and they hired Brent Holmes, which is also cheap. This is a pattern. Derek, when we used to be aggressive back a couple years ago, it was always in the opposing person's territory, like near the 20. Now Dan just goes for it any part of the field. Do you think that's from arrogance? Is that what you think it is? And who hired Brad Holmes as the GM? Nobody cares. DC is stressed and tired than a mug. Says, with the missed roster moves, losing so much of his coaching staff, bad Morton hiring, play calling, and no help coming from Brad at the trade deadline. Bro, that might be the comment of the day. What's new in Lions media? I missed the first half. What up, Steve? Basically, Kirby Joseph deleted all his social media. And the Lions are going to have to really, not only do they have to battle to get into playoffs. All right. So let's take a deep dive into Dan Campbell's press conference. This is from yesterday. Now, to set the stage, they didn't start the stream on time. So he is currently being asked about Kirby Joseph, and here's his response.
So there was a really strange tweet from Kirby that said something like 4 words. Is there any kind of update on his status?
I don't know. I don't know about the tweet. No, I mean, he'll be running around doing some individual stuff like that. He's doing a little bit more, but I don't know anything about the tweet.
All right, so what they're referring to is a tweet from Kirby Joseph. Now, she said a 4-word tweet. I saw one that said, God help me. And then all of a sudden, his social media was deleted. And if anybody is, I'm subscribed to his YouTube channel, but I would have to go through it and look. I don't know if it's called Kirby Joseph. But I went to go check to see briefly if that was still around, so I don't know. So I don't know if she's referring to that tweet or another one. But I want you to listen to Dan, and we're gonna really deep dive into this thing.
Coming back this week against the Cowboys.
Well, I mean, he's closer than he was before. You know, he's close. You know, we'll know a lot more really tomorrow. You know, today's a walkthrough, so tomorrow, Friday, see where he's at. But he is getting better. Like we said, he gets better every week.
Obviously didn't expect him to be out this long. Otherwise, maybe he would have gone on IR. Is it just a pain management thing? What has been the holdup exactly?
Well, a lot of it is just trying to.
Okay, listen to this dialogue of Dan Campbell, because a lot of this stuff is information that we are just now finding out about Kirby Joseph.
Get some stability, you know, in the leg, and get some strength, get some stability, which in turn will help some of the pain, but also some of the wear and tear.
All right, see Pool with the super chat. Appreciate you, big dog. 10 bucks says this year has really. Oh, I'm also going to get a graphic that I can put these on the screen. I'm just working on how it's going to work. Says this year has really highlighted the operation concerns. Levi was re-signed knowing he needed knee surgery with an unknown result. Pascal was activated early, not knowing how far his rehab was. That's what Brad Holmes does, bro. That's why I've been saying this whole mystery men dynamic. It's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough, bro. Sometimes you got to draft a stud. Sometimes you got to sign a stud. You cannot. This whole grit thing to me is old. It really is, bro. And now the opportunity to win it all for right now is closing. It really is. We're not the best team in the NFL. We're not even close. We're about to get shown up by a few teams that started 0-2 that might make the playoffs. The Houston Texans, they started. Wait, did the Houston Texans start 0-3? And now they beat the coach yesterday. This, I'm telling you, man, and this is what I be talking about the reckoning. This is why I have no chill, bro. I want one dude. Danny says Brad is the enemy within. Bro, that's what we're going to talk about. And that's why I love my coach, bro. I feel like I would die for Dan Campbell, because one thing Dan Campbell has not done, he takes accountability. It's on me. I only saw this man about to lose it one time in 2021 when Jared Goff was playing boo-boo football, and Dan Campbell had this paper in his hand, and he was really like, yo, Goff got to clean it up, man. That was the only time I seen him really call somebody out. But he'll take all the blame. He'll take all the blame. Brad Holmes is the opposite, bro, and it's starting to annoy me. It really is. So, Danny, you speaking facts. C. Pool, you speaking facts. But this thing is 13 minutes. But I want you to watch Dan Campbell. I want you to listen to Dan Campbell. We watch every one of these press conferences. This press conference has a very, very different feel to it.
You know, the stronger you get it in there, it stabilizes it, and so it doesn't, wear out as fast or create that kind of pain with it. So that's really what a lot of it is right now.
And you're pretty confident will clear up when he has the offseason arrest, or is there a concern of?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's hard to say. I don't think it's necessarily going away, but I think you do the best you can to manage it. You know, that's. It's like a lot of these guys, that have gotten some injuries here or deals with, could be cartilage or meniscus or anything like that. It's you do your best to manage it, and there'll always be a little wear and tear, and it's just how bad is it, But
all right, so Dan Campbell is talking about Kirby Joseph, and that basically this injury is lingering. It could be lifelong. This injury is not going anywhere. It is part of him now. And it's not necessarily going to, it might be a Frank Ragnow type situation where he is playing through the pain that comes with his injury. So that's what he's talking about. Shout out to Nick for the super chat. Says, they say you find out in November and December looks like what your team looks like. Seeing sustained success at its finest. Thank you, Brad Holmes. Okay? Okay, I don't know, Nick, are you being sarcastic with the thank you, Brad Holmes, or are you being serious? But I appreciate the super chat.
I do know that the more you can strengthen and stabilize, that helps a ton. Helps with the swelling, helps with the pain. So that's where we're at.
What is his exactly? Is it more than a bone bruise then? Is he dealing with something else?
No, I mean, I think I think bone bruise was certainly part of it, but it's also just, he's got some wear. He's got a little wear, that's all.
Yesterday, you were asked about the pass rush, and you said there, felt like there were three.
Yo, this is okay. There is a lot of telling information in this broadcast. Okay. Now keep in mind that Dan Campbell was asked after the Green Bay Packers game about the pass rush. Aiden Hutchinson was asked about the pass rush. Dan Campbell's response was, I don't know. I don't know. I have to look at the tape. I don't know. Right? So here's a question being asked about the pass rush.
Snaps where you didn't get home that you thought you should have. Mm-hmm. That's still a 0 sack performance. So if you're getting the pressure you want, what do you need to do more as an overall defense to be getting home more and not just getting the pressure?
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, first of all, Love did a hell of a job. He's a heck of a player, man. And, that ball was coming out fast, and he threw a few of these now off his back foot, and it was on point. So, he's got that ability. But, I think more than anything, it's, you do your best that you can to set up a one-on-one where you can find one. You're trying to fabricate some of these. Most of them come up in third down to where you want to get your guy in a one-on-one, and then it's up to him to win. And so it's, we had a few of those, and we didn't, we felt good about the person that we had, and we just didn't quite get there in time. So got to be a little bit better. And fundamentally, it's a little bit like what I told the defense. We just, details and discipline, and really fundamentally, we got to get better. We got to get better. And it can't just be you're going to win off talent, or things of that nature. It was really more about pointing out all the things that have nothing to do with talent. Which really is, it is the details, the discipline, and the fundamentals. So we just got to be a little more on point there. We can. Everybody's got to do their job, and that'll help. That'll go a long way.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, how confident are you from that whole spiel? Did Dan Campbell give you any confidence after he was done? Not me at all. He said that Jordan Love was getting rid of the ball super quick. Okay. Is he talking about his release speed? Or he can't be talking about the amount of time that he had to throw, because he had a tremendously long time to throw. He had over 3 seconds to throw the football. So did you feel confident after that? To me, shout out to Nick with a super chat. $4.99 says, Dan said on 97.1 today when asked about the pass rush, we need to win one-on-ones. My question is, with who, bro? You say this every week. Tired of hearing it. Raw Detroit says it doesn't look like the Lions are Super Bowl bound this year. Too many things are going on with them. The season is probably over. Get back, Joe. What up, though, man? Tell wifey I said what up. Says, are you telling me that he doesn't know how Davenport played? These are all legit questions. What did you get from that? Notice that he mentioned, so I think it's very, very telling. Very, very telling. Let's go back just a few seconds. We're going to go back 30 seconds, and I want you to hear and see if you catch on to what I caught on.
Can't just be you're going to win off talent, or things of that nature. It was really more about pointing out all the things that have nothing to do with talent. Which really is, it is the details, the discipline, and the fundamentals. So we just got to be a little more on point there. We can. Everybody's got to do their job, and that'll help. That'll go a long way.
All right. So Dan Campbell said that it's not about the talent, that it's about the fundamentals is how you win. Okay. You know what I think? I think he's right. But I also think that's cap. I don't know if y'all saw Myles Garrett yesterday. He did a Euro step on Trent Williams. They lost the game, but he did the dude, and the crazy thing is he played basketball. He's pretty good at it. So the Lions, their whole focus, all right, the entire time they've been building this team is no amount of talent is going to get you on the Detroit Lions. Well, sometimes, Danny boy, you need it. Sometimes you need it. Because, see, when the fundamentals might fall, you just raw talent. You think Micah Parsons got the best fundamentals all the time? No. Y'all was saying that y'all was saying when Micah Parsons was traded and he was paid all that money by the Green Bay Packers, and he just happened to have the same amount of sacks as Al-Qadim Muhammad, who is getting it on the Lions for a fraction of the price, a literal fraction of the price. Y'all was saying, like, they paid Micah. Of course they did. Micah Parsons joins, I think it's Reggie White, as a player to get double-digit sacks in his first 5 seasons. Of course they paid him. These two players are not the same. One is talented. One is less talented. No offense. You get drafted in the first round. You get drafted in the 6th round. There is a difference here. There is a difference. Somebody in my comment section, and I know they were trying to be uplifting. They were trying to be positive. And they said that Ahmed Hassanin bulked up. And I'm saying, okay, where is his elevation at? If he was such an asset, this is not a knock on the person that said this, but if he was such an asset, where is his elevation? Why don't we sign him to the 53-man roster and waive somebody else? Where is his elevation if he was such an asset? This is the year, and I've been saying this for literal years, that year 5 was going to be this was the year for this team, for this regime. This was the year. Is Dan Campbell to blame for some of the losses? Absolutely. You can put the NFC Championship game loss somewhere on him and Josh Reynolds and everybody else. But now I'm giving Dan Campbell a pass. Take the points, bro. Take the points sometimes. We good after that. Get a play caller and take the points. Brad Holmes, on the other hand, though, because you knew we needed a pass rush in 2024, and you took Ennis. You knew we needed a pass rush in 2024, and you signed Marcus Davenport. On top of that, you are always doing it. And you knew we needed a pass rush in 2025. You re-signed Levi Onwuzurike. Do not be surprised if Josh Paschal's back on this team. Don't be surprised. Brad will give him another shot. Don't be surprised. Shout out to Nick with a super chat. $9.99. Appreciate you, big dog. Says Dan be taking rockets every week for the past failures of Brad Holmes. Thank you, sir. Yes, he does. Let me read that again. Dan be taking rockets every week for the pass rush failures of Brad Holmes. Now, for those saying Brad and Dan saying we good, Dan can't blast this GM. There you go. I was going to get to that. On the radio, either how does that look? And yes, Dan is to blame. 100%. That's my point too, Nick. That's my point as well. The fact that Dan eats those rockets. Mouthful of rockets, bro. And what's your general manager do? Trade deadline, crickets, nothing. Not a word. Not a word. I'm going to tell you why he ain't say nothing, because he don't want to hear it. We went over on Lion Syndicate the other day. We went over a press conference from Brad Holmes, where he was getting annoyed at the pass rush questions. And it's kind of crazy because when you go back and you watch it in hindsight, the writing was on the wall. It's been on the wall for a long time. I said it during the draft. Brad doesn't give a fart about the pass rush. But before that, he confirmed he didn't. He confirmed he didn't by saying that the fans value the pass rush more than they do. And what did they do? They re-signed, they brought back Marcus Davenport, a man who literally played 6 games in the last 4 years or 3 years, whatever it was. So out of all of that, I heard that intangibles, fundamentals, talent. How often does Dan Campbell mention talent? Not often. You don't hear it often, but he mentioned it today. Because you're saying you're not going to win with just talent. That's because we are talentless. We are talentless. Like, that's the point. As much as y'all love Ahmed, he was drafted in the 6th round and cut. Now, he was injured, but he was cut. If the Lions valued him that much, because I promise you, if Aiden was injured in training camp, nobody would have cut him. They would have put him on season-ending IR before they cut him. You don't cut a guy. You don't cut a guy if you value him like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not a guy you just drafted. Now, you got to play the game with Tom Kennedy and those guys. You got to play that game. But not one of your draft picks, though, right? They played a game with James Houston. They took a risk. He wound up being able to come back on the team. So, I found out a lot. Man, Nick, with another super chat, appreciate you, big dog, says, bro, tell me why they cut Reynolds, kept Vaki, who's hurt again, and then go sign an RB yesterday. Bro, that is a bar. That's a bar, man. Hey, let's talk about it. So we got a super chat from my man Nick, and he's dropping a bar. I want to get your feedback in the comment section. See, these are the conversations that we need to keep having. And let me tell you something. It doesn't matter what run the Lions go on. If it ends in anything less than a Super Bowl appearance, it is a failure. It is a regression. We're not supposed to be here. We're supposed to be leading the division. Okay, so don't let whatever run. This is not 2021. We didn't just fire Matt Patricia. This is a year in which we were supposed to be in the Super Bowl, just like the year before and just like the year we almost made it. But Nick gave a super chat, and this is a question. Keep this. Check this. He says, bro, tell me why they cut Craig Reynolds, which is the running back. He's now with the New England Patriots. They waived him. Kept Sione Vaki, who's hurt again, and then go sign a running back yesterday. Great question, Nick. Appreciate that. Craig Reynolds was the number 3 running back. They drafted Sione Vaki. And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, please. They traded up for Sione Vaki. I think he was a 4th round pick. They gave up a little trade capital for him. I know these guys play a brutal sport, and I'm not trying to be mean in any way, but the guy's always hurt. He's always hurt. They drafted him to play running back more than safety. When he came in the combine, he worked out at 4 positions. The story is phenomenal. But the guy stays hurt. 4th round pick, gave up draft capital, stays hurt. We waived Craig Reynolds. He clears waivers. He signs with the New England Patriots. That was a choice he made. Good for him. Sione Vaki still on the squad. And then we bring back the running back that he's referring to is Jabari Smalls. He played for us during the preseason. You know why we did that, bro? Because Brad Holmes, it takes everything for him to part ways with one of his coveted draft picks. It's very difficult for him. He only does it if he doesn't have a choice. Now, in year 1, in year 2, we cut James Houston. Wind up signing him back on the practice squad, elevated him as the season went on. We let him go last year, finally. Broderick Martin should have never been drafted. And yes, Broderick Martin, we still talking about him, should have never been drafted. And Brad Holmes, the genius that is Brad Holmes, thought that Broderick Martin, I'm going to paint the picture for you and answer Nick's question at the same time. Brad Holmes thought that Broderick Martin from pick number 96 to 122 was going to be gone. Did you know who he was? Did you know who Broderick Martin was? He was taking a few spots behind Hendon Hooker, meaning a couple. And for Hendon Hooker, to my recollection, we didn't have to give up draft capital, right? But For Broderick, we traded up. We thought that Broderick Martin, who did not make our team in year 3 and has spent time since on the Chiefs practice squad and was poached by the Pittsburgh Steelers, I guess he's still there now. We thought that this guy was valued enough to come up 26 spots, and the guy didn't make the team 2 years later. So why did they cut Reynolds and keep Vaki and sign a running back yesterday? Because Brad drafted him. That's why. And Brad is notoriously, he cannot give up his draft picks. I think when you give up a draft pick, it admits defeat. Nobody Cares says, what we're learning is Brad is bad at the management part of his GM title. His only strength is draft evaluations, and even that has been muddled by his early success. He misses as much as he hits. When you draft a St. Brown and in a Super Bowl window year, because a lot of people thought we were in year 3 of a rebuild, so what? We also were 17 points away from a Super Bowl. Like, seriously, we were 4 points away from a Super Bowl. Now is the time to trade. Remember we was talking about them Jalen Ramsey trades? I know he ain't the same anymore. You know, we always talking about a Danielle Hunter trade, signing this guy in free agency. Oh, no. We going to sign Marcus Davenport. We're going to sign a dude coming off a season-ending injury. We're going to sign Al-Qadim Muhammad. No offense. Your career high is 6. Do you know that Al-Qadim Muhammad has been sitting on his career high sack, waiting to get it for 4 games now? Myles Garrett will break the sack record this year, and I think he does it in 16 games. Now, it's unfair to compare Al-Qadim Muhammad to Myles Garrett, but the point is, that's what talent does. That's what talent does. And that's why you pay for it. That's why you trade for it. That's why you make a move for it. But Brad Holmes wants to continue to build this team with the mystery men, but we don't have Mr. Furious on this team. We don't have the fart warrior dude. We got the mystery men, bro, and it's old. That's why there is no sequel to Mystery Men, because it failed at the box office, bro. It's time we need a general manager that doesn't think he's the smartest man in the room. And if he does, you better have the results to back it up. And when the Lions, if and when the Lions miss the playoffs, because it's highly likely, there's a 44% chance right now that they make the playoffs. They play the Dallas Cowboys, they play the LA Rams, they play the Pittsburgh Steelers, they play the Minnesota Vikings, and they play the first placed Chicago Bears. We're really going to see what this team is made of. And Brad ain't working with what he had before. I told y'all, man, pedestrian. That's who Brad Holmes is, a pedestrian general manager. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Why do you think we cut Craig Reynolds, who wasn't doing much, but neither is Sione Vaki? I told y'all in the preseason we should have cut him in favor of Jacob Sailors. But no, Brad can't do that. He can't do that. So we'll see. It's gonna be. I'm telling you, man, this year is a lot. This is the biggest offseason to date was the one that already passed. But this one coming up, this is the one where people are noticing now. So let me know your thoughts down below. All right, let me get back to this so we can get through it. We're going to stay on until this is over because this was one of the main reasons I got on. And we are in overtime right now. I really do need to get that overtime graphic.
Whatever you go ahead.
Coach, I was saying, y'all been out in Dallas the last couple of years, obviously. Had the game out there, y'all lost a controversial one, then y'all come back last year, y'all blew them. How is it just to have Dallas at home this time, and host that team here?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've been out there 3 or 4 times. I don't know. Has it been 3 or is it 2? I don't know what it is. So yeah, to be able to get them back home, you know, that's good. That's different, you know, because but they're playing good football right now. You know, playing with a lot of confidence, man. They've beefed up that defense. It's a really good D-line. Those guys are active. Eberflus has done a hell of a job. You know, he's a good defensive coordinator. We know him, obviously. He was in this division. Defense always played well. But he's doing a good job. And then,
All right. So I want you to listen to Brad Holmes. I'm sorry, Brad Holmes is who on my mind, but listen to Dan Campbell. He does this a lot. So this is not a surprise to me, but maybe I was looking into it a little too hard, but I want you to pay attention to something.
you know, what shot he's done offensively over there, and Prescott, those two receivers, they got a run game. Old line's rugged. It's a good team. It's a good team, man. This is a real good team playing it up.
You hear that? You hear that excitement? He been drabbed this entire. We've been on for 5 minutes and 13 seconds. He been drabbed this entire time. This was the first time Dan Campbell showed excitement, and guess what? He was talking about another team. I'm not saying that Dan don't love his. Did I say Brad? I'm not saying that Dan does not love his guys, but this was the first glimmer of excitement, and he's not done either.
High level, confident football. So it's be a good test for us, man. We're pretty fired up.
The last 3 years, I was just going to ask, being how good they are since Quinnen Williams came aboard, what sort of impact he's had on that defense and kind of how they've.
Ooh, hey, one thing I can say about Dave Burkett, bro, is he wanted. I would say him and John asked the toughest questions. They asked the toughest questions. So Dave Burkett is asking about the impact of a player that we've made multiple videos about on this channel about trading for Quinnen Williams, Jeffrey Simmons, Chris Jones, Deron Payne at the time. All these guys, bro. Enough with sometimes you got to elevate your squad. They lost Micah. So I know they gained Kenny Clark and traded for Quinnen Williams. And Jerry is a fool, but he knocked it out the park with this one.
Played the last few weeks with him in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, he helps, you know. I mean, he helps those guys. You guys know how I feel about Kenny Clark. I think he's an outstanding player. And so, you know, that helps Kenny. And it helps really the rest of them.
Okay, so Nick says, shout out to Nick for all the super chats, says you can only use the cards you're given, bro. Okay, check this out. You ready for this? With the 96th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Broderick Martin. With whatever pick it was in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions trade up for Sione Vaki. My bad. In the offseason of 2023, the Detroit Lions decide to sign Marcus Davenport. In the second round of the 2024 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Ennis Rakestraw, who has barely played. In the offseason in 2024, the Detroit Lions decide to extend Jared Goff. Like, come on, bro. Nick, I appreciate you, big dog. But sometimes you got to do something with them cards that you given, because we all know with the 96th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions traded up from 122 to 96 for a guy that probably would have been undrafted. Come on, bro. We not talking about the stuff that he given. We talking about the stuff that he has and the choices that he made with those. Hold on. I got one more. I have one more. With the whatever pick in the 6th round of the 2025 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions finally decide to draft an edge rusher, stud, a guy who has more sacks than Mike Green, a guy that plays with his hair on fire. Come on down, Ahmed Hassanin. Come on, bro. We got to stop with that. We have to stop with that. Brad Holmes had ample opportunity in free agency. And his priority, listen to what I'm about to tell you, Nick, and this ain't at you, Nick. But listen, when your priority in 2025 is to re-sign Marcus Davenport, he said in whatever room, this is a moment that Brad Holmes had in 2025. The season is over. we get bounced out in the divisional round. We are the only team in the 2024 NFL playoffs out of the 14 teams to go sackless in the playoffs. And your priority, your first order of business is to sign Marcus Davenport, a guy who literally was on the IR season ending for 2 consecutive seasons. That was your priority. Your priority during the draft was to trade. Oh, wait a minute. With the 70th pick in the 2025 NFL draft, the Detroit Lions trade 3 first-round picks for, oh, my bad, Nick. My bad, bro. My bad. I didn't know, bro. Nick says, Derek, I was commenting on the guy above. Bro, my bad. Message saying Dan is on. I said he's using what Brad gave him. That's my bad, bro. See, that's the problem about the comment section. I don't know who y'all talking to, but it wind up being a good segment. My bad, bro. That's my fault. I automatically think you talking to me. That's my bad. My bad, Nick. Appreciate it. But it's all love. It's all love. But you know what? That's more of a testament to Brad Holmes. And this is what this segment is. This is about Dan taking all the, like, he is absorbing all the rockets right now while Brad is chilling. I hope they are brutal on him this offseason. I hope everybody that asks these same questions, they continue to do so because he deserves it. My bad, bro. It's all. Hey, look, when you do YouTube as long as I do, okay? When you do YouTube, you instantly think people are talking to you. That's my fault, bro. Appreciate the support.
41 plays at a high level, man. He can burn the edge.
Ooh-wee.
You know, you got Clowney. They still got Fowler.
Ooh.
I mean, they got some guys now. 97's a good player. You know, he can get an edge. But it really, you put Quinnen in there, man. He's already he's a good player, man. You know, run and pass, gets off the ball, disruptive, but then he really helps those guys around him. He does, you know, because now there's some resources you may need there, and the rest of those guys, they'll get some 5-down stuff and let those guys go. So it's a good unit, but we just faced a pretty good unit too.
So after all of, he ran down how good the Dallas Cowboy unit was and said, well, we just faced a good unit. And that unit sacked Jared Goff. Like, I hear you, Dan, but don't your excitement showed. It showed, bro. We got a super chat from C Pool says, Dan looks as wore out as a grandpa after an afternoon at Chuck E. Cheese. That's crazy. 97 getting an edge must be nice.
Josh Pascal, he didn't get activated last week. Did he have a setback or just wasn't not enough time?
Yeah, it just wasn't enough time really to really be able to say that we knew he would be able to get through the year or that he was ready. That's what it came down to. Hate it for him, but it's where it was at.
How do you limit the explosives against an offense like that?
Well, it's not easy. It's not easy because those 2 receivers, man, here's what they do a great job of, and it helps. You got 2 number 1 receivers on the outside, and both of them are 2 different types of players. So that gives them variety, versatility. But then they run the ball well. They have a diverse run scheme. They do a lot of under center. Dak, they're against playing at a high level. The run action, the play pass stuff has been really good. So when you can run it like they run it, and then you got those guys, and they got a pretty good tight end, man, they become explosive. So, I'll go back to this. So much of it is going to start with shutting this run game down. We cannot let this run game get going, and because those guys are a handful anyway on the perimeter. But if we can just at least shut down some of this 2-dimensional football, that's going to go a long way for us.
Just one more follow-up about Dallas. Like, what did you take from the 2023 experience that's become kind of legendary a little bit here with the Dan Skipper game and what that's become? But what did you take from that experience, particularly in the end? Did you learn anything?
No, I mean, Not really. I mean, that was a crazy game, right? I mean, that was, everything that came down to, and had an opportunity there at the end and just wasn't able to close it out. But there was a number of things. I don't know if I'd say I learned anything really. I think more than anything, it just makes you mad. That's about it. But all good, man. It was, if you're a fan, that was a heck of a game. I know that. And you try to, if anything, you get in that situation again, you try to find a way to win that one instead of, how do you keep it out of the hands of the officials? That's really what you're trying to do. Just leave it out of there, that.
Hey, that's a very telling. Keep it out of the hands of the officials.
Way it's just up to you.
You ever seen six linemen become a cult hero like Skipper too? It's crazy.
Not really. It's Skip's he's a different breed of man, so he's something else. He does a good job, man. I'll tell you what, he's dependable now. He's reliable, dependable, and he does a lot of jobs for us. So.
You said that 2023 game makes you mad. It does feel like you put a little extra sauce into the one last year. You guys opened up the playbook and really took it to them, gave them one of their worst losses in franchise history at their place. Do you think that there's carryover year to year? Do you think maybe they're going to be looking to bring a little extra into this one because of the way they, lost that game last year?
I don't know. I mean,
Oh, shoot. My bad, Tail. My bad, bro. Hold on. I'm too busy looking at. My bad. Shout out to Nick. I almost missed the super chat. Thank you, Nick. $4.99 says, so what Dan is saying is that I wish Brad was a little more like Jerry and seen what we needed and did what needed to be done to make a run. That's what I'm hearing. That's kind of what I heard too. And Jerry is a fool. Jerry is a fool. For every good decision, he make 5 bad ones. But it seemed like when he makes some good ones, he makes some good ones. But that's what I heard too. We got Tail with the super chat, man. 1999 says, even though he has faults, this year coach is good in my book always. All of it lies on good old Melvin Bradford. He failed miserably. I hope you give him all the fire you got this offseason. Keep it 100 grid. We got your back. I appreciate that, bro. The super chat, the kind words, because I'm with you. I'm with you. I really believe in Dan Campbell. And I you know what? I think if Sheila has to make a choice, I don't know how you get rid of Dan. And don't forget, we've seen a situation before with Jim Caldwell that a general manager was relieved of his duties and the coach was kept. I don't think that's going to happen to Brad, but I do think that the clock is definitely about to strike 12. And that could be in a way of Brad Holmes not getting extended, because these are conversations we have to have. I mean, if we regress and don't make the playoffs, why should either of them be extended, honestly? You know what I'm saying? But I think that we have to have these conversations. But thank you, guys. I'll make sure I have it pulled up so I can see next time. I almost let those fade away.
I think every team's different. Every year's different. But I know this. They want to win this game. I know that. Because I know we want.
Okay, so just I see the comments talking about Tanner Ekstrand. Okay, so there's a couple things that we can consider. Let's say Dan said when it came to Tanner that you weren't going to get the job. We were going to go, and that's what made him go to that place with AG. Or it could have been that maybe he wants to go with AG because you know how you become a coach. The quickest way to become a coach is to be a coordinator. Look at Ben Johnson. Look at Aaron Glenn. Look at Kelvin Shepard down the line. I think Cliff Kingsbury, if he wants to coach again, that he might be a coaching candidate, even though the Washington Commanders, are having a really sucky year. So I don't know why he went over there, but I agree that Dan Campbell, you can see who's on my mind, that Dan Campbell needs to hire an offensive coordinator. And here's another thing too, y'all, I want to talk about very briefly. Like the good old boy, like we like to promote from within. It might be time to think outside the box. We were talking about Robert Saleh when he was relieved of his duties. We decided to promote internally. It's working out. Maybe it's time but I will say the last time the Lions did that was Anthony Lynn, right? And it didn't work out. So, but I think Dan Campbell was in his first year of coaching. He's learned a lot since then, and I think he can make a better decision. Has anybody heard anything from Brad lately? No. Brad Holmes does not talk during the season at all. Not on the radio, not in the media. He only talks during the offseason. He's the only one that talks. You don't hear from Dan Campbell mostly during the offseason. You might hear from him at the media, at the owners' meetings and stuff like that, but this is Dan's times. This is Dan time, and that's Brad. So trust me, man, we gonna have a lot of conversations because the way that this team finishes this year is going to lead into next year. And instead of excitement, it's going to be a lot of critique. But I've been saying this, though. I've been saying it.
Win this game. So they're playing good football. They're very much in that division race over there right now and playoff race. We're an NFC opponent, and I know that. They want to beat us, so, but we want to win too, and we need to win. So that's where this game's at.
Any updates on Graham and Brock?
Yeah, Graham's he's better. There again, we walked through today, and then Brock, really nothing new from last week, We're still sending out scans for what he, for this trachea, and just seeing if there's, any other second opinions that would change, I guess, the outlook for him playing,
Yo, so you heard it right. A trachea, bro. That's in your neck. That's crazy. A trachea issue with Brock Wright. We got a super chat from Danny in VA. Says, I'm confident all the strays DC is taking will keep him on board past Brad. Everything he says is to instill / keep player confidence, peace in the locker room. That is a fantastic statement. That's a fantastic statement, bro. And I think the same thing, that is what we're going to see as well. Because to me, Brad might not have those connections. And then whereas Dan will, he will absorb all the smoke. Brad will send it away. So I 100% agree with that.
Right now, there's really nothing right now that would change that. So we're just kind of in, I know that frustrates him. He wants to play. But we're just kind of in a holding pattern right now.
And that could be a long-term deal?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be. Yep.
Does this feel, I know that you don't ever consider a game a must-win, just given where you guys are and where the division is going and what's at stake against another important NFC opponent battling for a playoff spot. Is there part of that may be a little bit true at this juncture?
Well, our margin for error is very small right now. So, of course, we got to find a way to win, and we want to win, and I think I go back to this. We just lost one. We got to find a way to win this next one in front of us. And yeah, time's running out. And so, it's all about finding a way to win the game. But I've also been in these now before where we got counted out when I was a player. We lost 2 in a row, and we were almost mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. That was all the writing, and then we won out and got in, So you just, you find a way to win the one in front of you and don't get caught up in the rest of the stuff. That's the bottom line. We're in this business to win. We're trying to win. We got to win.
What year was that for you as a player?
I was 02.
Yo, we trying to win. We got to win. True words spoke by your head coach of the Detroit Lions. Now, what did you take from that whole thing? That whole press conference? For me, it was a lot. The demeanor of Dan. See, oh my God. He's in my crosshairs, man. He is in my crosshairs. Yes. We got King Turner with the super chat 199 says we signed Andrew Armstrong, was nice at Arkansas. Yes, to the practice squad. We have released Mati from the practice squad and signed Andrew Armstrong. So I'll be making a video directly after this. All right. let's do one more segment. He's not the same. Yup, Dan seems defeated. All right. Is it time to admit that there might be, I don't want to speculate and say that there's some friction between Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. But one thing that Dan Campbell has done to me that Brad has not is accept responsibility. All I saw during the 2025 offseason was deflection. When Brad Holmes and the fact that we were battling attrition in 2025, all we see every single year is Dan stand up there and take it, right? He cries for his team. He takes statements. He's been called a meathead. In 2023, when we lost the NFC Championship game, he was saying that this might be the only time we can get here. And we all know what he meant by that. But truer words weren't spoken. Like this guy, right then and there, the team hasn't been the same. Yeah, we go 15-2. None of that mattered. First seed, nothing mattered. No sacks in the playoffs. Bounced out in the divisional round. It did not matter. When we had an opportunity to take advantage of it and we weren't hurt, we didn't make the right move. Now we got a team that we can still do something with, gets hurt. We didn't make the best moves in that offseason either. But the press conference that Dan Campbell did yesterday, to me, is very telling. And it might be a situation where it might be time to have a conversation of, is there a separation between Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell? They were not hired as a team, meaning they weren't brought in. It wasn't like the GM was hired and then the GM selected his guy. They both came in separately, but they worked very well together. And I think it's time for a little pushback. And we did a video about this last week. I think it's time for a little pushback. And this year is going to be huge when it comes to both of these gentlemen. But I think Dan is a lot safer than Brad. I do. We're going to spend a lot of time. Like if the name Brad annoys you or you don't want to talk about it anymore, I understand. It's very similar to the pass rush. But guess what? I was right about that. And we still talking about it all these months and years later. Because Brad has shown what he wants to do and what he values. Lions missed the playoffs this year. It's going to be a big deal. Bears are probably going to make it. Lions fans are waiting on them to collapse, which they haven't done yet. They do have to play the Lions again, which they lost to in week 2. Ben Johnson is very much on pace to win Coach of the Year, while the Lions are trying to figure out how they're going to retool this thing in the offseason. This is a big deal. This year is a big year. And it might be a time where it's time for a little bit of friction, a little bit of pushback. We hear that Brad and Dan are connected at the hip. They like a hive mind. They share whatever Dan likes, Brad liked them too, and vice versa, and all that stuff. They seem to be really cool working together. It might be time for a little pushback though, because this is Dan Campbell's team. These people play for Dan. They don't play for Brad. Brad on the sideline in the elevator screaming, which is cool, sitting up in the booth, talking about how he doesn't care how the fans feel about the pass rush. And this is what I don't understand. We allegedly don't know football, but we saw this coming. I'm trying to understand, how does a good GM, not see this coming? I truly don't understand it. Usually, if a player, you sign them on a 1-year deal and they don't play well, you typically don't re-sign them. Now, I get 2021. I get that. Here it is that Emmanuel Mosley was signed off of a season-ending injury. He was signed to the Detroit Lions roster after a season-ending injury with the San Francisco 49ers. Okay, we signed him. He gets injured again, and right now he's not even in the NFL. We signed DJ Chark. Now, granted, that's in year 2, coming off a season-ending injury. What happened? He's played for a few teams, made a few plays, still not the same. Marcus Davenport, we signed off of 2 consecutive. We signed him once off of a season-ending injury. Then we signed him again off of a season-ending injury. We signed Tim Patrick. You see the pattern here? Some work out, some they don't. But yet we couldn't take a risk on Jalen Phillips knowing that Aiden Hutchinson needs some help. You got Aleem McNeil playing at edge. It's funny because the pass rush was what I've been talking about for years, and now it seems like Brad Holmes has taken that place because he's the only person that I have that's on my target list. Don't want to troll because I like your channel, but y'all lost to 9 and Michigan lost. That's rough. I appreciate that. That's not a troll. We lost to 9 because of several reasons. One of them is Brad Holmes. That's it, bro. One of them is Brad Holmes. Couldn't touch anybody. Poor offensive play calling, the whole 9. Thank you to that loss to 9 is why Dan Campbell took over play calling. Because who knows what John was so up and down. He was more up and down than Dan Campbell. So my thing is this. This offseason is a big deal because while everybody is so up in arms about the greatest general manager the Detroit Lions have ever had, do you think about how that sounds? Brad Holmes has been a general manager for 4.5 years, and he's already the greatest general manager that we've ever seen. While that's happening, while that is going on, just as quiet as it's kept, they got 2 years left on their deal. So when this offseason gets here, Brad and Dan Campbell, they got less time to go than they've had to build. That time, 5 years has gone by, 2 years remain. And the question that I have is what does Sheila Hemp think? That's what I want to know. What does Sheila Hemp and the people talking to her, the football minds that's talking to her in the room, what do they think? What do they think? If the fans could dictate what happens next, is it safe to say that, okay, here's the question. Would you call for a meeting this offseason if the season ends in less than a Super Bowl appearance? Would you call for some type of meeting between Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell or Brad Holmes or Dan Campbell? What would you do? How would you go forward this offseason if you were in control of the team? What would you want to know? I myself would want to know, what are your plans? You got 2 years left on your deal. You've done a great job over the last 5 years. You've taken this team from the bottom to I'm not going to call us a Super Bowl contender anymore. We're a playoff contender, right? I'm going to call us that. You take us, we have some great years, some bad times. You've done it. I really don't want to start over. I want to give you a chance to finish what you started. I want to give you a chance to reap the benefits of building this team because, I might be able to Steve Kerr you. All my basketball people, they get what I'm saying. Just like that, nobody remembers about Mark Jackson. Golden State was not always good. Let's make that very clear. And could Brad Holmes or Dan Campbell be Steve Jackson? I'm sorry, Mark Jackson. Steve Jackson is a whole different dude. Mark Jackson. So if I'm Sheila, I want a plan. It's been 5 years. You need another extension, right? That's what I think people are missing in this whole thing, is that the guys need an extension. Just like any other job you do, you get a raise if you do good. Maybe you get your raise is already built in, or you get a promotion if you do good. That's not built in. So this team has to earn these guys got to earn a contract extension. That's a literal thing. Until they do earn it, they have to earn it. And I am very curious to know, with what's happened over the past 2 years, with the fact that the Lions have invested $1 billion into 9 players, with the fact that we also have a couple of those players from that 2023 draft, now 2024 and 2025, there is no concern. Tyreek ain't about to make a bunch of money right now. Right now, Terrion Arnold ain't about to make, he not making Patrick Surtain money. That's not happening. So once you get this 2023 draft out the way, you're going to be straight for a minute. The question is, are you going to be here to reap the benefits? So if I'm Sheila, I need a plan. Pat on the back. You got your attaboy when you took us to the 2023 NFC Championship game. I'm not going to trip on that. We blew that game. I'm not going to trip on that. I just want you to get us back and take us further. Tell me how you're going to do this. Why does the pass rush suck so bad? And then if I'm Sheila, because Sheila, when she don't really know nothing about football, like about the players. When you in the locker room, when you in the draft room asking, is he good? Like, you know what I'm saying? She just did one thing that I think that she is she is more decisive than her mom and dad. Like, her dad held on to everybody. Her mom had a fondness for Jim Caldwell, but she was kind of in the right direction. Sheila seems like she bought that life. And we gonna see, right? So, when you have the Rams, when you have these sell the farms, like it annoys me that Detroit Lions fans, like we sold the farm before. When was the last time the Detroit Lions sold the farm for anything? And then we got a prime example of teams that do exactly what you're afraid to do, and they're winning. The Philadelphia Eagles, I'm telling you right now, if Myles Garrett was truly available, or if the Cleveland Browns was a smart organization, they would have sent him to Philadelphia. Myles Garrett, for the contract extension he just got, would be a Philadelphia Eagle. Howie Roseman was trying to make that happen. While your general manager is worried about Marcus Davenport in a year that we are Super Bowl contenders. And why is it that you, I, and everyone else knew that it wasn't going to work out? There is nobody who watches this show that thought Marcus Davenport was that guy. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm looking forward to this offseason. I am, because I feel like that we gonna need, like, we might be at the point where we need an injection of spice, because I think Lions fans got content with winning the NFC North for the first time and then winning it again and all of this stuff, right? When 2 years ago we were in the playoffs in the NFC Championship game, 2 years later we might not even make it, while last year the Chicago Bears lost 10 in a row, ended 5-12, and they're the number one seed less than 12 months later. This offseason is going to be something. It's going to, and no matter what happens with the Lions and how this season ends, if it's less than a Super Bowl appearance, it is a failure. Let me know what you think. All right. Let's wrap up the show. Appreciate y'all, man. Yo, we might, so the goal of this, like, real talk, as the offseason approaches and I get more time and I figure out how to get this system working, I didn't know if I could go 2 hours. Like, but I see right now, with the right structure, bro, we could go on for 2 hours, like, real talk. And I'll start bringing people in. Like, it's crazy, man. But I am working on this software, and it's driving me crazy. It's driving me crazy. So this offseason, I got a couple things I'm doing. I'm hooking up a new computer. I'm going to do a couple redesigns. Can you believe it's been 3 years that we've had this set up already, which is crazy. Nobody was checking for Marcus Davenport. If the Rams win a Super Bowl again, I'm not watching Lions football anymore. Freight money, you can't do that. You can't. And look, all of y'all about to watch, so stop playing. Everybody is coming back next year. Let's not pretend that you ain't. You feeling that way right now, but you going to be right back next year, as am I, right? So we gotta get this thing together, man. We got to finish the job. It's going to be an explosive offseason, if you ask me. Like, we're going to learn a lot about the Detroit Lions in these next 5 games, and we're going to learn even more this offseason. Is there going to be friction between Brad and Dan? Do they still have that same grit mentality? Is it still talent, not enough talent? You know what I'm saying? Because we can't deny, y'all, Jalen Carter, like, I'll say this, and let me get your input, and I'll wrap up the show. Last year, we talked about Boy Scouts, right? We talked about that. We talked about how, or not last year, last week, one of the segments was about Boy Scout. You can't spit on people. Like, don't spit on people. Don't knee somebody in the crotch. Don't punch people. Like, but we don't have all Boy Scouts on the team, okay? Jameson Williams, nice guy, not a Boy Scout. Not a troublemaker, but not necessarily a Boy Scout. Brian Branch, not a Boy Scout, right? Are you at the point, as Lions fans, where you are maybe ready to risk a little bit of, you're not really tripping on that whole locker room thing? CJ Gardner-Johnson, not a Boy Scout. So it ain't like the whole team, like Brad was all Boy Scouts. Shout out to AC Pool. That's wow. With the $2 super chat says we have Davin Hurt and Breakstraw, bro. And all the time that I've paid attention to his name, I've never said that. That is crazy. That's never come to my head, which is crazy. Wow. Wow. Okay, somebody asked, Jay says, do you think the season is over for us? I don't know. I don't know, Jay. I don't know because there's layers to it, right? If the Lions lose 2 more, they're done. Statistically, this season, they beat one good team. So if history repeats itself, if the pattern continues, the Lions will go 1-5, maybe 2. They'll go 2-3 down the stretch. They should be able to beat the Steelers, and they'll beat the Vikings, and they'll lose all the other ones. And right now, the Steelers are 500. So Aaron Rodgers is a dinosaur. So I could see us at 9-8. And wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't it be something to book in the 2022 season to go 9-8 and just miss the playoffs? That would be crazy. But let me ask you, and we'll wrap up the show. Jalen Carter, we know what he did off the field and stuff like that, and none of that is okay. A lot of y'all still wanted him. Jamar Chase, not necessarily a Boy Scout, right? On the diva side, spitting at people. Can't do that. Just keep your spit in your mouth, bro. Spit on the grass. Don't spit. Spit is fight. Like, you fight with spit. Even if it's a little bit. If you intentionally spit on me, that's a problem. So keep your body fluids in your mouth or off people. But would you not draft him because he spit on somebody, right? Is it time? Has the grit, everything over talent, intangibles over talent, has that worn off? I think it has. I mean, real talk, we have seen what that gets. And it gets us a nice ride. It gets us we went to Cedar Point and we finally got on the top 302. And it was a blast. It gives us a great ride. But then after that, we don't get to experience the rest of the park. We at the crib. Oh, time to go. What do you mean? We didn't get on the Steel Vengeance all the way at the back of the park. You know what I'm saying? We ain't tried a new ride. Nope. We just here for this ride. We just want to enjoy the ride. I think, y'all, that it's been proven that you can't get there with pure grit alone. The NFL is too much of a gauntlet to just rely on grit. It is, man. You got to get, like, you know who got grit right now? The Carolina Panthers. They got grit. You have to make your team better, and not marginally better, but better. You know, the biggest thing that annoys me, and I think it's going to weigh heavy on the fans this offseason, is if we fall short of our ultimate goal, which is to make a Super Bowl, the offseason of 2025 is going to really get louder. Like, it's going to, hindsight, Brad said, we don't draft up. We don't, what did he say? He said that we don't reach for players for like the now. Aren't you trying to win now? And I think Brad got caught in his own success. He got caught in his own success. I'm going to tell you what, maybe we dealing with Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde here. Maybe Brad was Dr. Jekyll from taking the job with the Detroit Lions until drafting Jahmyr Gibbs. And maybe Mr. Hyde came after that. Like, that's a real thought. I don't remember this Brad Holmes before that. I don't remember this Brad Holmes before that draft. But when you go 4 for 4 in the first 2 rounds, like pretty much all Pro Bowlers, or they should be, that might do something to you. that you can forget about Hendon Hooker. You can forget about, which I'll never forget about. Let me remind you in case you forgot, because I will never forget. With the 96th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions trade up 26 spots and select Broderick Martin. What did we give up? A 4th and 2/5 for this guy? We gave up 3 picks, I think, for Broderick. I think it was 3 picks. Riff, the reason you won't see him anywhere is because he doesn't speak during the offseason. During the season. He doesn't speak. He only speaks when major moves are made. And I'm disappointed in him because you talked all that junk on the offseason. You talked all that mess. You criticized, you were condescending, all of that. And you couldn't even stand up there at the trade deadline and answer questions which people were dying to ask you because you knew what the outcome was going to be. It was going to be something you don't want to hear. And watch it happen. I'm telling you, man, we really going to see Mr. Hyde this offseason. We going to see all of him this offseason because the first thing that the Lions, the reporters are going to say is, hey, Brad, pass rush still suck, bro. Still suck. And now that Aiden has been paid and he is lackluster this year, which is totally understandable, he's going to start getting criticized as well. And I'm sorry, I cannot do that. I refuse to do that. Not this year. Maybe next year, maybe the year. I'm not going to do that. Aiden has been all we've had all since the time he's been drafted. And literally Brad Holmes said in his press conference, we have one elite pass rusher. He literally said, he is all we need. He can handle it. He can handle being double team, triple team. He don't need any help. We got an elite pass rusher already. We don't even need a mediocre one. We a practice squad dude to do just fine. Think about this. After you look at this. We'll give Josh Pascal a defensive end designation. That's what it says on ESPN, so that's what we'll say. Look at what Brad has done, okay? You have drafted. Aiden fell in your lap. What do you do after that? You take James Houston. In 2023, what did you do? You took Broderick Martin. And fill in the gaps, y'all. If I miss somebody, let me know. I'm talking about potential, the edge rushers that you have taken with edge rusher designation. You've taken Josh Pascal, who's done very little. And I hate being mean to Josh because Josh is battling something bigger than football. So you take Josh Pascal. You take James Houston in the same draft. 2023, I don't remember. 2024, you take Mekhi Wingo, right? Mekhi was 3 or 4. In 2025, you take no. Let's talk about the D ends. I'm sorry. Let's make this a D end conversation. You take Ahmed. What did you do in the offseason? Okay, I lied. Let me bring one thing up. I'm gonna bring. I gotta, because we cooking right now. I gotta bring. We'll be off at the 2-hour mark for sure. Okay. Because this, we about to cook, bro. We about to cook, man. No. Okay. Can we do? All right. Can I narrow it down by year? I know I can do it on Wikipedia. Oh, you can? Okay. All right. Yo, I can't do it. Okay, let me go to Wikipedia because Wikipedia got a lot of the stuff. I know anybody can edit it, but Oh, I just got a tweet too that Kirby Joseph is back at practice. I don't know what that means, but he's back. He's back at practice. Okay. Maybe later. Okay, listen, has anybody ever donated to Wikipedia? Have you ever donated to Wikipedia? I keep telling myself I'm going to do it. Okay, where are we at? Come on, man. Okay, you know what I can do? Because there's a separate wiki page for, like, you got Detroit Lions, and then you have, there we go. So then you have the history of the Detroit Lions, and then you got the season. Okay. All right, there we go. Let's go here. Hey, appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for real. Okay, 2022, 2021. All right, perfect. Oh my God. Wow. Okay. I got to get off too. Okay. Yo. Okay. Wow. Okay. All right. This is gonna be pretty tough. Wow. All right. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you know I've been real critical of Melvin Bradley Mathias, and I think he's earned it. I think he deserves for every Lions fan to be critical of him because he has neglected the pass rush position, specifically the defensive end. And what we're going to do now is we are going to chronicle the chronicles of the D-end position and what Brad has decided to do at that position. We're going to look at free agency, and we're going to look at the draft, and we're going to see how many of those people, and right now it's coming to, we see the problem. I've seen this problem since 2022, and I don't think Brad has. But you know what? He doesn't care. He literally said the fans care more about it. We are on the good old reliable Wikipedia. All right. I pretty much trust when it comes to this because I know who used to play for our team. So if a name seems fishy, we're going to look at the pass rush position, specifically defensive end. This is from the 2021 NFL season. We're going to look at the free agent additions, and we're going to look at the NFL draft. Now, 2021, I will give him a pass because we sucked. He was in a hole from Matt Patricia with the money situation and the draft picks. Let's not forget that we traded for an edge rusher named Everson Griffin with one of those picks, and that's why Brad and Dan were down a pick. Let's look. In 2021, we signed a bunch of guys. Some names on there you might remember: Josh Hill, Tyrell Williams, Jamal Williams, Tim the Trash Man Boyle, Brashard Perriman, Randy Bullock, Khalif Raymond, still on the team, Damon Ratley, Alexander Zaloni, still on the team, Corn Elder, I remember making videos about him, Quentin Dunbar, Dean Malone, Darren Fales, remember him? Elijah Holder, Charlie T, Darren, who's been backing on our team a couple times, and Price. Okay, cool. Let's keep going down. We don't care who left. The NFL draft. We took not a single edge rusher. Not a single edge rusher did we take. So if you look at the draft and you look at free agency, we're not a single edge rusher. Unbelievable. Let me make sure I'm looking at that right. Okay. That's 2021. That's the year that I'll give him a pass. Now, if I go up here, I should be able to fast forward to the next season. Let's look at 2022 when we drafted Aiden Hutchinson. Let's go down and see who we re-signed. Chris Board, remember him? DJ Chark. Mike Hughes, I remember him. Gerard Davis. You remember that? Garrett Griffin, Deshaun Elliott. Shout out to Deshaun Elliott. Wind up playing some very good football for us. And after that, Justin Jackson. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you see? What do you see? Not a single edge rusher was signed in free agency. Let's go down to the draft. We had the number 2 pick in the draft. We took Aiden, Jamison Williams, Josh Pascal. Ding, 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 ding. We take an edge rusher, finally. Outside of this dude who was a no-brainer. He was a no-brainer. Let's keep going. Up. So right now, at this moment, and I'm getting upset now looking at it because it's even worse than I thought. Two defensive ends. Crazy, bro. And we drafted both of them, and one was fighting cancer. Shout out to Josh. Win the fight, bro. Let's go to 2023. Let's keep on going down. Let's see. Who did we bring in? Additions. C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Remember that? Still got your ski mask. Graham Glasgow. Marvin Jones. Mac McCain. Okay, Jake McQuaid. David Montgomery. Massive signing. Emmanuel Mosley. Jalen Reeves-Maben. Cameron Sutton. Where's the D-line at, bro? Not only the D-end, but the D-line, period. Not a nan one. Not a one, bro. Crazy. Let's go down to the draft. We take Jahmyr Gibbs at 12. Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, Hendon Hooker. Oh, there we go. We're not even going to look at the UDFAs because nobody cares. They barely make teams. Okay? Broderick Martin, traded up. Broderick Martin. Oh, boy. Traded 139. What did we trade? Wow. This is what we gave up, I believe, for Broderick. Kobe Sorsdahl, Antoine Green, and that's it. So we're not even going to care about the UDFAs. So you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? We're 3 years in. We have 2 defensive ends on this team. That's insane. I don't want to hear it about UDFAs because, like I said, they don't really matter. James Houston should be somewhere on here. Where's James at? This was the James Houston draft. Did I miss him? Hold on. Let me go down because I want to make sure I give James Houston was in 2022. So that's James. Let me see what James was. I think James was a DN. So we'll say 3. I'll give him that because I completely missed him. I completely missed James Houston in 2022. All right. He's not on the team anymore. Let's go down. And outside of his rookie season, the fluke season, made little impact. Got hurt the next year, got cut the year after that, eventually. Let's go to 20. Now we're sitting in 2024. Let me see. What did we do in the offseason? What did we do? Okay, so we bring in a guard. We bring in a wide receiver. We bring in a linebacker, Matthew Betts. Oh, remember him? The guy that had the most sacks in the CFL? Marcus Davenport. Well. What do you know? What do you know, man? Wait, am I reading this right, y'all? Please tell me if I'm missing this because I need to know. Is Marcus Davenport the first recorded defensive end that we signed in free agency? Am I missing something? Is Marcus Davenport the first defensive end that we signed in free agency under Brad and Dan? Let me know if I'm missing something. Carlton Davis, Parker, Amik, DJ Reader, Zeitler, Caden. That's it. Let's go down to the draft. We drafted Terrion Arnold. We drafted Ennis Rakestraw. We drafted Giovanni Manu. We drafted Sione Vaki. We drafted Makai Wingo. DT. I told y'all that he had a defensive tackle designation. Christian Mahogany. This is crazy, bro. When you look at it, it's even worse. That is crazy. Now let's go to this year. So as of this moment, heading into 2025, Marcus Davenport was the only free agent defensive end that we signed. Because don't forget, Matthew Betts didn't make the roster. And they had him as a linebacker in the NFL. Remember they was trying to play him as linebacker? They was trying to have him cover in Detroit. And 2025 additions, Ronnie Bell, Roy Lopez, DJ Reed, Grant Stewart, bada boom, bada bing, quarterback, CB, wide receiver, Raquan Williams. That brother ain't even on the team. He ain't nowhere to be found. That's crazy. Do y'all remember him? I don't at all. Dog. And Tyrus Wheat. So it took Brad Holmes. We got Andre Carter. Took him off a practice squad. He never took a snap for the team on the active roster. So, in Brad Holmes, and let's go down to the draft and let's finish this. Let's finish it. Tyleik Williams, defensive tackle. Tate Ratledge, guard. Isaac Tesla. Look at what we gave up for Isaac. It's crazy. Miles Frazier, Ahmed Hassanin. That's it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why maybe you'll understand now. This is crazy. I knew this already, but going back down memory lane makes it seem even worse. So, in the 5 years that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have been general manager and coach of the Detroit Lions, according to our research, the first defensive end that they signed in free agency was Marcus Davenport, and he was coming off a season-ending injury. That makes it even worse. I did not even recall that. I have been saying he does not give a fart about the pass rush, and now specifically the defensive end, and now it's been proven that in total, between the draft and free agency, if you throw in the linebacker designation, he has signed maybe 6 to 7 defensive ends, if you include James Houston. So when I say that Brad Holmes has failed this team, this is what we're talking about. This is crazy. You're not going to win a Super Bowl if you can't get to the quarterback. Maybe Brad Holmes ain't the man we thought he was. Holy smokes. I cannot believe that. I can't believe that, bro. Hey, Jay, nobody was talking about Davenport. He fits everything. He's injured. He's cheap. If you notice, Brad needs people to prove themselves. He needs those type of people because they're cheap, bro. The upside to them. Brad ain't worried about winning. He wants upside. Ahmed Hassanin is upside. That's crazy. All that talk that everybody was doing in the offseason about the great Ahmed Hassanin, he has not played a snap this season in the regular season. Crazy to me. And if the Lions valued him as a legit pass rusher, would he have been cut? He would not, because you're not going to take a valuable piece and cut it. You're not going to risk it, because don't forget, they have to go through waivers. When people are cut from the 90 to the 53, they can be claimed by other teams. And the 6th round pick that the whole world, well, he was hurt, but the 6th round pick, so instead of locking him up to the roster, ensuring that he was not going to be poached, which he wasn't, he was going to be claimed because he was hurt, right? They put him up. They wouldn't have done that with Hutch, because somebody would have claimed Hutch immediately, expeditiously. This is crazy, bro. This is crazy. Now that I brought it up to you, how does it look now? It look worse, don't it? You sitting there and you doing this. This your face. You at work. Somebody asking what's wrong with you. What's wrong with you, Ray? Oh, man, I'm watching this dude, man. One of the top YouTubers in Detroit. He been talking about the pass rush for 4 years, and he just broke it down. That's crazy. That's you. Appreciate y'all, man. I'm out of time. Enjoy Monday Night Football tonight. Lions made some roster moves. We brought in a wide receiver. I'll see you guys on Lions Syndicate. This offseason gonna get real. It's gonna get real, bro. And I assure you that Brad is gonna catch it. he gonna catch it, bro. And if you're a fan of winning football and sacking quarterbacks, you need to feel some type of way. Unbelievable. I actually might make this segment on Lion Syndicate because this needs to be talked about. Appreciate y'all. Have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. No, I won't see you after dark. I'll see you tomorrow. The soundboard, bro. I love it.
But maybe this is how I should talk to Brad Holmes. I should reach him in his dreams. Brad, get a pass rusher.
I'm pissing off the neighbors. Whether homegrown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City when we get back on our feet. Yeah, you don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets. Cause when you're in the motor city, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets. Cause when you're in the motor city, everything ain't pretty but it's love though. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City where we get back on our feet. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City when we get back on our feet. Yeah.